Tuesday morning, it's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Of course, we'll look at the market watch, stocks we're paying attention to, local, national stories that you need to know here on this Tuesday as well. And oil prices are back up here these last couple days, and all basically around what's happening in the negotiation side over there in the Middle East. And let's get into it with that market watch. And that's basically what's driving the markets. Of course, the Feds are meeting this week as well. Nothing's expected to happen there. Just going to keep everything the way it's been in terms of the interest rates. Some other news out there this morning pertaining to oil. United Arab Emirates, they're leaving OPEC effective May 1st. Now oil is topping $100 today on reports. Trump does dislike Iran's plan to open the Strait of Hormuz. So all of that's weighing on the market. Dow Jones right now, it's basically even, 2 points up right now to 49,186. The S&P 500's down 35 points to 7138 for it. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, way down, 207 points to 24,679. Even the Russell 2K down 30 points here today to 2764. Well, that means Bitcoin also kind of going along with the trend on the markets today. Bitcoin's down 1,200 points, roughly down to the 76,115 after being close to that 78,000 range for the last 2 or 3 trading days out there. So markets, with the words over there in the East, of course, UAE leaving OPEC here coming up. They basically called them a gangster operation. They want no part of it. All on the market here today. Of course, today and tomorrow, focus turns to the Fed as the Fed is doing a meeting. Don't expect anything to happen there in terms of interest rates, partly because the Fed chairman is changing here in the next month. But all of those factors, plus inflation worries, oil worries, etc., out there are big issues. Stocks we're paying attention to right now. The first one, Oracle, is on everybody's mind today as well. They're down 2.87% here as well. And the reason why Oracle is way down, the Wall Street Journal came out yesterday and reported OpenAI recently missed its own targets for new users and revenue. Well, OpenAI is the biggest AI company out there, the biggest spender, or at least one of the biggest spenders out there. They're kind of the face of AI as we move forward, at least to the retail world, right? Us commoners out there. That is raising huge concerns that OpenAI may not be able to support all of its huge AI spending moving forward if they're not getting the users and revenue that was expected. And keep in mind, OpenAI, I know we're talking a lot about them here, but there's a reason why Oracle's involved. OpenAI, remember, just started doing ads as well to try to boost up that revenue out there. So a number of chip stocks declined on the news. Oracle's the one we're focusing on. Is there a big one out there? 3.05% right now. NVIDIA is down. AMD is down as well. Roughly 1 to 3%. They are as well. Every chip manufacturer. Because obviously if these companies like OpenAI, Meta, Google don't spend on their AI side, well, chip makers aren't going to make as many chips. Oracle down 3.32% based off of the Wall Street Journal's OpenAI news that they broke out there. Excuse me. General Motors is the next stop that we're going to look at here as well. Down 1.44% here today. This morning, they raised its 2026 guidance, blew through first quarter earnings expectations. They did have $3.70 per share. Analysts were only expecting $2.62 per share. Blew that number out of the water, and their stocks in pre-market were up 5%. Come back down a little bit to earth, right? Minus 1.64% right now for General Motors. But anytime you raise your guidance, usually good news on the stock market. Not in this case, though. And then let's look at Coca-Cola out there. They are up 5.51% here this morning. Coca-Cola reported quarterly earnings and revenue. Well, it exceeded expectation levels. Their earnings were 86 cents per share. The anticipation was only 81 cents per share. Revenue, well, they came in at $12.47 billion. Expectation was only $12.24 billion for Coca Cola. And so they're up 5.54%, blowing away their numbers as well this morning. Later on, when we come back and look at stocks, we're going to look at Spotify, the huge streaming conglomerate. Bed Bath and Beyond making some waves today on the market, and then a company called Lending Club. They're a digital marketplace bank, is what they do, making some waves here early this morning. We'll take a look at those stocks coming up as well. But first, let's get into the stories that you need to know here today. And as we said, oil prices back up ever being down consistently over the last week or two here. Oil rose to a 3-week high. It's now above $110 a barrel. Now, this is the London market early this morning, as of course they were open overnight as our time. Now, everybody's waiting for U.S. response to that proposal from Iran to end the war and open up that Strait of Hormuz. It's right on the president's desk, and he signaled today he did not like it at all. Brent crude traded rose above $111 per barrel, bringing the gain this week to about 6% up here for the Brent crude. West Texas Intermediate, well, it's moved up to $98 as of this morning. The president is convening a meeting to discuss Iran's proposal. Now, he keeps saying there's red lines to any deal to end the war. Things like, Iran not having nuclear weapons, the Strait of Hormuz, how they can't control it anymore. Those things are the red lines out there. The ceasefire, though, has basically held since early April. Now there are blockades, the U.S. blockade. Now Iran has a blockade. All those blockades are reducing daily transports there in the Strait of Hormuz. And they're basically lower down. They're not zero, but they're as close to zero as you can get, but still affecting the marketplaces out there. What's happening. So oil prices up today based off of the president signaling he doesn't like it. By the way, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he suggested Iran still wanted to retain control of the Strait of Hormuz. And he has been the one that has said that's unacceptable to the U.S., that continues to happen moving forward. So we know that's the other red line from Marco Rubio out there besides the nuclear weapons. So that is driving the oil prices back up. Some uncertainty in the market as well. And some more uncertainty that's going to be hitting the market here coming up, right? We know, and it all bases around tariffs. We know the Supreme Court deemed those emergency tariffs that President Trump put back into effect, last April. Well, we know that the Supreme Court ruled those as illegal back in February. Well, Donald Trump, the president, he rolled out temporary import taxes to replace those emergency tariffs deemed illegal. The problem with that is those levies expire in less than 3 months. Remember, it's a temporary window that he can do those tariffs. So the administration is putting together some other ideas here to put durable tariffs in place to keep revenue flowing, obviously, into the U.S., but also shore up the president's protectionist wall around the American economy. So these are things that are going to be happening over the next few weeks, which could startle the market if anything, trade wars happen again, etc. So starting this week, the Office of U.S. Trade Representative, they're going to begin hearings in 2 investigations that are expected to lead to these new round of U.S. tariffs. Doesn't mean it's going to be additional tariffs. It's just putting the tariffs back to where they were from those emergency tariffs or what was negotiated between the two countries. The new tariff push is sure to face more challenges in court. Make no mistake about that. But it is on more sturdier footing here than the Emergency Powers Act that he used last time. So Tuesday, today, and Wednesday, tomorrow, they're going to do one meeting here, and it's weather 60 economies. So this includes anywhere from Nigeria, Norway, basically companies accounting for 99% of U.S. imports. So this includes China and other places. They're going to look into if these countries do enough to prohibit the trade in products created by forced labor. That's the meeting starting this week. Next week, the administration is going to hold hearings on whether 16 U.S. trading partners, these are the big ones here, China, European Union, and Japan, even though they are part of both of it, These ones focus more on those 16 next week. They want to know if those big countries in the European Union are overproducing goods, which then would drive down prices and put the U.S. manufacturers at a disadvantage in the global economy. The economies being investigated account for more than 70% of U.S. imports. So 99% in the first one, which includes those big countries. The second meeting is 70% at that time. So this probe could result in new tariffs and, of course, will spark and kind of bring some uncertainty into the marketplace as well. So just something to keep an eye on around tariffs here coming up as well. And let's move away from the national stuff out there. And we know, right, Claude, Anthropic's Claude, is being deemed as very negatively by the U.S. government as Claude kind of fought back on them using the AI system for the war in Iran. Well, now hundreds of Google employees are urging their CEO to refuse to make the company's AI tools available to the Pentagon in classified settings. So this is an open letter to the CEO of Google, or Alphabet, excuse me. Google workers assigned to AI systems voiced concerns about their ongoing negotiations with the U.S. Department of Defense, saying the technology is not appropriate for classified workloads. They fear they want to make sure that their AI system, if made available for military applications, well, they could be used. They don't want them to be used in inhumane or extremely harmful ways, according to those employees. The letter cited lethal autonomous weapons and mass surveillance as examples of potentially harmful applications of AI. My question is where do these people think AI was going with these companies? Where do you think AI is going to go? Military use. Google is negotiating a possible deal with the Defense Department. They want to deploy its AI in classified work. And we got that information from the media company called The Information. OpenAI earlier this year struck that agreement with the Pentagon, and they agreed not to use OpenAI technology for mass domestic surveillance or even to direct autonomous weapon systems. OpenAI got that in their agreement. Can Alphabet/Google get that also is kind of the question. But the employees of Google kind of raising up right now, fighting that agreement that is being negotiated out there. We talked earlier about the Wall Street Journal and its reportings when we looked at the stocks, and Wall Street Journal's busy this day because they also reported over the weekend that not just Spirit Airlines, but now a group of budget airlines, which includes Frontier, Avelo, for instance, those types of budget airlines. Well, they're seeking $2.5 billion in federal assistance through stock warrants that could convert into equity stakes in the airlines. Officially out there, and some of the journal sources told the outlet that the group's $2.5 billion figure, well, they came up with that because it was an estimate of how much they expect to spend on jet fuel just this year compared with earlier forecasts. That estimate is assuming jet fuel prices will remain above the average of $4 a gallon for the rest of the year. Conversations about a possible relief package for budget airlines are reportedly expected to continue in the coming days. The news, well, it follows that reported meeting between the leaders of several budget carriers with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and FAA Chief last week. Last week, leading budget carriers requested that Congress pass a bill to suspend the 7.5% federal excise tax on airline tickets and the $5.30 per segment tax. That's what they say. Those budget airlines say. If you get rid of those two, well, the estimate would offset about 1/3 of the increased fuel costs. The group represents Spirit, Frontier Airlines, Allegiant, Sun Country, and Avelo as the group asking for these changes. These budget airlines' pursuit of federal aid obviously comes as the Trump administration is weighing that separate proposal to provide relief for Spirit Airlines. That's going to be a $500 million loan that they're kind of talking about. That would give the federal government the ability to convert warrants into equity stakes in, of course, Spirit moving forward. So the $2.5 billion is on top of that Spirit loan of $500 million. So these we know the big boys, the big airlines are taking huge hits with fuel right now. And now the budget guys, just for survival, asking for some bailout money. My question is this: if you bail out and help out these budget airlines, you don't think that the big airlines are going to come with their hands out as well? We know United 20% ticket increase. They've already announced baggage fees already going up because of the fuel pricing as well. And kind of a follow up story to yesterday. I don't know if I'm getting old or what, but these stories keep popping up here, right? We talked yesterday about Americans, savings and how you're not saving enough for retirement. Well, here's another study for you. Nearly 7 in 10 Americans worry about running out of money rather than dying. This is all new data from Alliance, that company. That's sharply up from the 57% who felt that way just 4 years ago. Yeah, so 57 to 70% are afraid of running out of money before they die. One pressing reason for the worry, and we all know this, many people already know they don't save as much as they should for retirement. And then just the market as well and what's happening in the economy. By the way, 73% of Gen Xers hold this fear. We're the generations that's getting closest to retirement. Millennials and older ones have longer to save. So, of course, boomers are also already retired or in that retirement era as of right now. The Gen Xers have the biggest fear on their minds. Part of the reason why money worries are so stressful, well, household finances are very complicated, as we all know. Incomes and expenditures vary month to month. They have multiple accounts to manage. Look, the amount of monthly fees we pay to companies is nauseating. Nauseating in my eyes. I can't believe how much we spend in monthly payments for dumb little things there. Instead of just buying something once, we got to buy it every month. In addition to feeling distressed about not saving adequately, the feeling is compounded when panic and the markets sink in. Yes, folks, do not do this. I understand the urge, but again, we have to reiterate. Half of savers admit they immediately check their retirement accounts after a market down, basically a plunge, right? A downfall on it. And that's happening a lot these days, and then it comes back. For instance, when the Iran war started, big plunge. Well, all those gains have come back here over the 6 weeks after it had started. Then the total amount of loss was back as well. Well, this survey found that, like I said, half of savers check it, and then 1/3 of those half then cash out from retirement account to stave off losing more, right? And then so you don't get the benefits of the uptick afterwards out there and losing more money when you do that out there as well. And folks, let's get on to a break here and come on back and talk some local stories as well. We actually have Little Caesars making some waves. We'll talk about them here at the end of the show. Of course, we'll look at stocks coming up as well. Spotify, Bed Bath & Beyond. You got Lending Club we're going to talk about as well. So come on back. It's McCollum on Business, Tuesday edition. And we're back here, McCollum on Business, Tuesday edition. Appreciate you joining us live here at Robat TV. 7 a.m. as well is where you can find us here Monday through Friday, as long as the markets are open. And look, folks, you just saw right there, when we get done, we have a myriad of offerings to you here with our production company, TME Media. And you can find us on Robat TV. You can find us on YouTube, TME Media AZ, of course, on Rumble as well. For the show, you just saw the commercial for The Real Matrix. Rumble.com/user/TME Media is where you can find us there. The Real Matrix, full episodes are there. Fridays, of course, it hits 10 a.m. here at Robat TV, noon on Rumble. Noon on the podcast systems out there as well. Just search The Real Matrix. Angry Patriot, it'll pop right up for you there as well. Folks, we are on Rumble, so we're using it for The Real Matrix. Well, we use it for all of our other programming as well. So anything else you can find on YouTube or Robat TV, you can find on Rumble. So as soon as we're done here, we get this program up on demand at Robat TV on YouTube and, of course, on Rumble as well. TME Media AZ on YouTube. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. There on Rumble is where you can find us. This show does not have a podcast, but the main event does. Today, Dale Hillestray's off, of course, 17-year NFL veteran, off enjoying a little high school reunion fun with some guys from his class of 1980. So Bruce Cooper is coming in today. We'll be talking Suns end of season NFL draft wrap up with Bruce Cooper. Of course, we did that draft show last week. Appreciate everybody tuning in for that. Check us out, of course, here live, 8 to 10 a.m. on YouTube, TME Media AZ, and on that Rumble stage as well. Check out the free podcast system there. Just search the main event with Steven, main event with Dale. It pops right up for you. They're on your favorite podcast system. Then, of course, Pit Stop. Little early Pit Stop this week. We're recording it today. Well, it'll be up later on today as well for you here on the YouTube, Robat TV, and on Rumble. A little earlier this week because tomorrow, personal day, I got to cut some stuff short tomorrow for a personal matter with my graduating high schooler. We got something at the school we got to get to. And then, so we're going to do that a little early this week, but that'll be up today as well. Looking back to last weekend's racing at Talladega, this weekend ahead to Texas Motor Speedways. Come and join us at the Pit Stop later on, whether it be on demand, Robat, YouTube, Rumble, or even a free podcast system. The Pit Stop Talk is where you can search for it. Of course, follow us on X as well, the Pit Stop Talk, and also follow TME Media AZ on X as well. Get updated on what's happening around the company as a whole. And with all that being said, folks, that's right. When we looked at it earlier, the NASDAQ was way down. Everything else was fairly even with oil prices rising today. Let's get back into that Market Watch. Excuse me, my voice there getting a little squirrely, but right now the Dow Jones is down the 17 points. The S&P 500 is down the 39 points as of right now for the S&P 500, kind of coming down from those highs that it was at over just last week as well. The NASDAQ is down 224 points. A lot of that is due to chip stocks falling here today. All around the OpenAI report from the Wall Street Journal we told you about at the beginning of the show when we looked at Oracle's stock out there. So 229 points down for the NASDAQ right now. Then the Russell 2K, well, it's down 22 points for the Russell 2K right now, and at 37 points on your screen. I looked at the live feed there. It's actually down 22 right now. But either way, down today as well. And then Bitcoin, keep going down as well. 1,500 points down right now. 75,798 for Bitcoin here today. So down off that 78,000 it's been at. Roughly 78,000 the last couple days. Down to the 75,000. Stocks we are paying attention to. Well, let's look at Spotify here. Remember, Spotify keeps doing price increases. Seems like every year they're pushing one through, sometimes twice a year. They're down 10.95% right now, Spotify is. Well, they reported weaker than expected operating income guidance for the first quarter, for their current quarter, I should say. They did all this in their first quarter earnings report. So the operating income is not good here after their first quarter reporting. Spotify delivered revenue in line with expectations in the first quarter, but they're signaling it's weak afterwards. And they keep putting through these little price increases here, and are people abandoning them? People not paying for it anymore as they do the price increases, or people just getting out of their streaming service? Be interesting to see where they're kind of attributing it to. But Spotify right now down 11.05% here today. And then let's talk about Bed Bath and Beyond. 3.37% up right now for them. In pre-market trading, I mean, this has come way down. As you see the graph on your left, if you're able to watch us here. If you're driving and listening, or, doing something else and listening, well, don't be dangerous here to look. I'll just tell you it's down big. It was 25% up in pre-market and when the market opened today. So there's been a big downfall here, 2.90% up right now. They posted first quarter revenue of $247.8 million. Well, that was up 7 million more roughly than the 240.1 million expected by analysts. They did their adjusted loss of 25 cents per share. That was a smaller loss than the loss of 28 cents that was expected as well. So that's why pre-market and the beginning of the market today, it was up 25%, 25%. Now it's come back down to earth a little bit, 2.06% up right now for Bed Bath & Beyond, but still up based off of those news for Bed Bath & Beyond. Next up, Lending Club. This is a digital marketplace bank. Well, the reason why this caught my eye is, well, they're up 1.02% right now in pre-market. It was up 10%, so it's come back down a little bit. But why did this catch my eye? As a digital marketplace bank, their first quarter results exceeded expectations, specifically net interest margin. They had a net interest margin of 6.28%. The consensus was only 6.06%. They're making more money off of their interest, right? Their loans out there than anybody expected. That's huge for a bank. Earnings of 44 cents was better than the estimate of 36 cents per share. Their revenue of $252.3 million, better than their estimated revenue of $249 million. Lending Club Corporation has a digital marketplace exceeding expectations, and it's up right now 0.99% here on this Tuesday. And now let's get into some local stories here before we're going to go broaden it out here when we talk Little Caesars, but something could be coming our way with them. We have that story coming up. For some reason, lately, we've been ending in a lot of food stories, so we might as well keep that trend going. And this week here in Phoenix, aerospace experts, well, they've been seeking ways to kind of, get more innovation and growth here in Arizona in terms of companies and things to that effect. Well, they have a big blueprint for this goal, and it's going to take place this week, right? Wednesday here in Phoenix. Arizona Space Congress and other industry leaders are going to get together and talk about smart things that I don't understand. As of 2024, the global space economy raked in over $613 billion. And it's not getting smaller, folks. It is getting bigger and growing every day as well. Aerospace companies are going to focus on finding ways to expand technology, infrastructure, human frontiers, and power systems over the next 4 years. Well, these are all keys for Arizona to become a world leader in that aerospace development going forward. So, convening here on Wednesday, let's see what comes out of it. We already know data centers. We already know quantum computing wants to be a big thing here as well, at least according to Phoenix Mayor. We talked about that yesterday. Now, the space industry kind of taking off here as well, or at least looking to. In other news, well, financing hurdles are all done, let's say that way. Yeah, groundbreaking is expected next year for that big project out there downtown Phoenix for Arizona's tallest tower. That's going to be a $675 million project here coming to downtown Phoenix. Now, it's now called ARRO, ARRO. It's been rebranded to that name. It's a 1.8 million square foot development. It's going to encompass 2 towers in downtown Phoenix. These are going to be large towers as well, folks. The North Tower is going to be 541 feet tall. The South Tower next door to it, well, it's going to be 425 feet at that point. The working name has been Astra, so if you've heard that Astra name, that's what it's been called up until now as well. The Empire Group is doing this work. Their vision for the development, they started this vision back in August of 2019, which I don't get because people are moving away from large office spaces, right? Where everybody can work at home, etc. Total development costs were expected back in 2019 to be around $350 million dollars for a 2.18 acre development. And this is going to be at 2nd Avenue and between Van Buren and Fillmore Streets is where these are going to go up. So these two buildings in 2019 was envisioned to be about 525 feet. Well, the biggest tower down there right now, well, it's that old Chase Tower building that's been closed for a lot of years. That's only 483 feet. So these are going to tower that. At least the one building is going to tower that in downtown Phoenix. Funding's done. Groundbreaking is going to be coming up. So some new tall buildings coming in downtown Phoenix as well. And now let's go out to the West Valley here because a 40-acre hangar development. It's been approved for the Phoenix Goodyear Airport and officially should be getting underway here soon. This project will add about 400,000 square feet of hangar space over multiple areas and facilities in the Goodyear Airport. It's being developed by a company out of Mesa, Davcon Aviation, and they're already looking for companies to fill the spaces. They say they've had robust interest in pre-booking these spaces out there in Goodyear as well. Well, the plan is to build facilities that will be used for aircraft maintenance, repair, and overhaul, and the hangars will come in a variety of sizes to accommodate several different types of aircraft, right? Corporate, wide body, narrow body, etc. As Phoenix Sky Harbor, it's growing in the commercial aviation side of, the airline business. They have the new terminals coming, new concourses coming. Well, these secondary airports, right? Mesa Gateway, Goodyear, etc. They're increasingly more critical role in non-essential and maintenance-related aircraft operations. So Goodyear Airport, if you don't know, it's out there in the West Valley. It's on Yuma and Litchfield roads. You can't miss it when you're out there. That was built all the way back in World War II. It's a general aviation reliever airport, obviously for Sky Harbor here on the West Valley. So it is owned by the city of Phoenix. And the company developing this says the city is looking to partner with tenants of the new development and will streamline development through coordinated permitting, project support, and tailored incentive packages out there in Goodyear. So for those of you in that industry, you think Goodyear Airport's a fit for you, or you live out there, drive by it. Well, some big, huge improvements coming out there at that airport as well. We hear a lot about the improvements out in the East Valley there at the Mesa Gateway Airport. So now starting to happen on the west side as well. And folks, we're going to step back from the Phoenix conversation here and go more towards the conversation on drone deliveries as well. Now, this is happening in Texas, but could it be coming here? There's a big upgrade coming to these food deliveries. Little Caesars has launched a new high-capacity drone. That drone is capable of delivering full family meals within minutes. This is why this is a little bit different, folks. This rollout was announced on April 23rd. It's powered by a company called Flytrex. It's their new Sky 2 drone. It can carry nearly 9 pounds of food moving forward. Now, this is a Tel Aviv-based drone delivery service, that company. Now, why is 9 pounds important? More food can be delivered. So if you're within a 4-mile radius of Little Caesars in Wiley, Texas, is where they're starting it at. It's just outside of Dallas, by the way. You can receive up to 2 large pizzas, select sides, and sodas. You can get it about 4.5 minutes after it came out of the oven. As of April 27th, the Wiley location is the only Little Caesars using the new drone system. So what's different about this, and why are we telling you about a drone service over there in Texas? Well, it's fascinating because, will it move to Arizona? But 2, most food delivery drones are quadcopters. We've told you all about DoorDash and other companies Flytrex works with. We'll get to those in a second. But these basically have 4 or 6 rotors is what has been used in the past. Well, here's an octocopter is what's being used for these deliveries. It's an 8-rotor setup on the Sky 2, which is what Little Caesars is using. Now, that's helping open the door to larger meal deliveries as it can carry more weight. As we know, Flytrex has partnered with other fast food chains, Chick-fil-A, Jersey Mike's, Kebabs to Go out in the East Coast, El Pollo Loco as well, This is the company that partnered with DoorDash as well. They received funding from Uber last year. So this is a big company here, and using the 8 rotor system to get up to that 9 pounds of delivery. So no more just little small packages, folks, coming at this point. Flytrex isn't the only, operator in this delivery space. If you remember Chipotle, they announced that it would be rolling out Zipotle back in 2025. That's with a company called Zipline, and that's a drone delivery service for them. And there's other ones out there as well. Of course, Amazon and their package deliveries out there. So there you go. You might soon be getting your pizza delivery by drones. And not only that, sides and sodas as well. That's a big advancement here to get the bigger amounts. Folks, I appreciate you joining me here on this Tuesday edition. Main event coming up live 8 to 10 a.m. Don't forget, follow us at TME Media AZ on Facebook, on YouTube as well. Catch all of our programming on demand. Pit stop out later today, little early this week. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. as well. So come and join us here, McCollum on Business.